Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this March 25th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. We're glad that you're here with us. If you have interest in finding our stuff, all of that is available on our link tree, which is at EOA.network. That takes you to a place where you can see all of the locations of our Facebook, Roku, YouTube page. So anyhow, you can find all of our stuff there. Here in a little bit, he's running a little bit late, but Terry Hale from the Elgin Opera House is going to be here with us in the studio in a few minutes, and that will be a great, look forward to having that conversation with him. So, hey.
Morning.
Hey, how are you?
For, second Monday. Monday. Almost done with March. My goodness.
Yeah, and it's just a beautiful day. I mean, it's supposed to be like 70s today.
I can get with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Hopefully it stays like that.
I was going to say, when are you going to break out the shorts again?
They're coming.
It's nearly
I wore some the other day.
It's nearly there, right?
Yeah, it's about time to switch from the winter wardrobe to the summer wardrobe.
Yeah.
It's I hope it stays. Probably not going to though.
Well, yeah, who knows?
It hasn't teased us enough yet, I don't think. I mean, I think it's got to go at least like 4 cycles before we can really grab on to spring and summer.
Tanya has tulips, and they're up that far. And, yeah, which could be a little disastrous if there was spring or a freeze.
Oh, yeah.
Because a freeze is totally possible still.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about
Yeah.
it. Yeah. It could freeze tonight. It says it's 70 today, and it could very well freeze tonight.
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of nuts how that is.
One of the best female players in college basketball tore her ACL last night in the round game in the tournament to get to the Sweet 16. Juju Watkins for USC.
Oh, man.
She's a sophomore. She's an All-American.
Yeah.
She tore her ACL last night, which, I mean, USC was, most people picked them to go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're deep enough to have won it, even with her. Mm-hmm. But without her, they're in trouble. It's always sad. The good thing is, she's not a senior. I mean, if we can find any positivity out of it, she still has years left to try to win a national championship. But, man, those non-contact knee injuries are just heartbreaking. I was there when Max McCullough did his against Gonzaga, and it's just like, right away. Like because if you're not getting bumped or anything and you see that, know that it's something serious.
Where's that at?
Your ACL in your knee.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's on the inside. I don't know. I don't know exactly. I just know that it's one of the ones that keep your knee from going this way. Because that's how they
keeps
test
it from wobbling this.
They get you and they have you sit in front of them and they grab the back of your calf and they pull like this, and if it comes this way a lot, they know that the ACL's gone. Man. That's all I really know about it.
Do you think that there's more ligament injuries than what there used to be? I mean, like with the Achilles. I mean, do you hear people, I don't know, do you have any sense of that?
I think there's probably about the same. Well, I think on turf there's more ligament injuries for sure. But like basketball-wise, like on just the same surfaces we've always played on, I think probably about the same. I mean, I think maybe even nowadays people are stronger and the medicine's advanced, so probably less, maybe. But I think because of social media, you hear about every
that very well could be. So, because my daughter at Leilani, she was jump roping and completely disconnected her Achilles.
That happens,
Yeah, I mean, it's just like,
But that's not just from that one activity. That's from that stuff doesn't just snap.
Right, but she's not an athlete. She's not and so it's like, it's just a weird injury.
Yeah, I think on turf though, there's definitely, especially like hip flexors, you hear about it a lot. There's been a lot of EOU kids have had hip flexor problems, and and it's that I would attribute that directly to playing on turf. Because turf, you know, it's different. It's just the impact's different. It's hard.
You're right.
You're not running on grass.
Right.
You're running on basically pavement. You know what I mean? So it's just a different surface, and but I would definitely say like the injuries to the ACL, you know, the knee injuries and stuff like that in basketball, we just hear about every single little one because we have access. You know what I mean? Like
that
back
information
then,
is instant, right?
Yeah, and they have a way better way of like people. You can play with a torn ACL. People do it. You can play with a torn MCL, torn meniscus, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think probably the advancements in technology and medicine have made it easier to find them and faster to fix them. So more people are electing to get them fixed. You know what I mean? Because
rather than play with the pain. Yeah.
Yeah, I did my ankle originally in 2000. Yeah, 2000. And I didn't have it operated on until 2008, 2009. I'd already been married for, you know what I mean, like a few years. And it just got to the point where that ligament was gone and my ankle was just turning over all the time. And so what they do is they go in and they take a ligament from up higher in your leg and they bring it down and they do what's called a Jones's loop and they attach it to your fifth metatarsal with a screw.
So you mean like going over like you'd twist your
ankle? Yeah. Flop over like a wet paper bag. I'd be walking, not even step on it. Boom. Yeah. Like, I'd get so mad too. Like, I gotta get this damn thing fixed. It hurts so bad.
Oh yeah, you twist your ankle. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah, and because it didn't have that ligament stability on the outside, so it would just boom. And I didn't have the ligament there. Your body, eventually, when you tear something like that, your body just dissolves it, like it goes away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it just like
just like
there was nothing there. There was nothing to hold it from going that way. So it would just. I mean, if I didn't have an ankle brace on, it would just boom, boom, and it just got to the point where. It was painful. When they went in and did the first imaging, my fifth metatarsal, which is this bone right here in your this bone in your foot, the pinky long bone, had been broke 7 times. 7 times.
Wow.
Well, it breaks the first time when it pulls, when that ligament pulls out because it's attached.
Okay.
So it just pulls a chunk of that bone out when you snap that ligament. And then just from impact and it being weak, it had broken 7 different spots.
Wow.
So now it's got a
little,
gonna break again.
It's got a little wonky.
No, it's got a screw going down the middle of it that replaces it basically. Yeah. Yeah. Not fun.
It's amazing. So I think I told you that my aunt, she's 85 and was in a car accident back in Wyoming, and the impact of the car hit her right side. Everything on the right she broke except her hip. I mean, she broke her ankle, her femur, the lower bone. She broke ribs. She broke her jaw. She broke her. I talked to her the other day, and she's finally home. It was 3 months before she was in the hospital and then in a care center, and she finally got home. But
85 and a femur is scary. His femurs are
and she said that was the thing. She said that broke like about 4 or 5 inches above the knee, and that was the one that was still problematic in getting healed. You know,
they don't put you in a cast for a femur anymore.
Is it just an external brace of some kind, or what do they do?
Well, so the kid, I coached middle school age baseball, and my center fielder and right fielder collided one time, and my center fielder hit my right fielder's like leg area, and it compound tib, fib, and femur. I mean, his leg looked like it was gnarly, and they just put him in a brace. Like they used to put you in that full body cast, so you couldn't. But now they don't put you in a cast for a femur anymore. No.
Weird.
Yeah. It's weird, yeah. It's the biggest bone in your body.
I know. When you break a femur, that's like
the lump on his leg was this big. It was gnarly. He had to be life-flighted
Well,
from
yeah,
a collision in baseball. It was crazy.
yeah. Well, and thankfully for my aunt, it didn't break her hip, because that, for older people, that's the thing that sometimes they just
They
don't come
can't.
back from.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would think femur would be too. I mean,
Yeah.
I like at this point in my life, I'd rather break my hip than my femur.
Yeah.
No doubt. But at that point in my life, probably femur. I don't know. I think I'd rather not break either.
I have a friend who's a little older than me that he broke a femur playing pickleball. Yeah, I
Did he fall?
He lives in Nampa. Yeah, he fell
Oh,
and
okay.
somehow and yeah,
I've never broke a femur. I broke both of these bones in my wrist. I broke fingers. I broke toes. I broke orbital bone. I broke clavicle. Well, and the long bone in my foot and the long bone in both hands. But like I've broken these bones. But that's about it. I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah.
No big bones.
Pretty lucky.
Well, no, I mean, like,
No, I know what you mean, yeah.
Playing sports and just being
Yeah.
kind of dumb as a teenager, like, I'm pretty lucky. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say like no big bone breaks. I mean, outside of these two,
Yeah.
I was on a drill and I couldn't get off of it and
Yeah,
it just spun everything around.
I in football, in junior high football, I broke my ankle. Yeah, ankle. Excuse me, wrist. So yeah. Oh well. Hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. When you shop for a new Sealy at Northwest Furniture and Mattress, you're getting the #1 trusted mattress by Americans. You're also receiving long-lasting comfort at an unbeatable value plus free delivery from Northwest Furniture and Mattress in LeGrand. Big Red Rocking Chair on Elm, off Adams. EOU softball won all 4 of their games this weekend versus Warner Pack to push their record to 14-3 overall and 11-1 in the toughest conference in the country, the CCC. You have the #1 ranked team in the country, the #2 ranked team in the country, and then EOU, who's at 13, even though we beat the #2 ranked team 2 out of 4 games and 2 out of 3 that count. They still get a lot of love, Southern and OIT, and they should. I mean, they went to the NAISB tournament in Georgia and competed at a high level. EOU, though, man, these girls are tough. They really are. They're just finding a way to get it done every weekend. They go to Montana this weekend for 4 big ones against the University of Providence. EOU baseball got 1 out of 4 from #20 LCSC over the weekend. They're 8-19 overall, which is respectable for this EOU baseball team, considering all of the circumstances that have happened in the last 5 years. 8-19 is something to be proud of right now. They're 5-12 in the CCC. They go to Eugene this weekend to take on Bushnell. We'll talk more about EOU track and field on Thursday. LHS softball ran their record to 5-0, winning 4 over the weekend in Idaho. The second day I watched the games, I mean, I was in and out. We scored a ton of runs. I don't remember the exact score of the games. It was in the high teens. But we also gave up a lot of runs, which is kind of got me a little bit worried. If we can't give up 15 runs a game and win every game. So they need to get that figured out, pitching and defense as well. They host Vale tomorrow right here in LeGrand at Community Stadium. The opener for the Tigers. It's tomorrow, and it's supposed to be absolutely gorgeous. LHS baseball is in Arizona for spring break. They won their first game yesterday versus Manitou Springs 14-0. They play Air Academy today at 12 and Pueblo Central tomorrow at 9 a.m. They got to go to the Arizona Diamondbacks spring training game last night, which is really cool. This trip is a really special, important part of LHS baseball, and a lot of the families make it their spring break or their vacation for the year. And there's a lot of people from LeGrand that go down there and watch and just hang out for this week down in Arizona. Thank you to Arlie Anderson for the pictures. She's going to send me pics today and tomorrow as well. AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. They want to make you comfortable in your own home.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, let's take a look outside. And
Beautiful.
man, it's beautiful. It really is. Yeah. Earlier, that camera was pointed right at the sun, and that lens is just like
The glare.
crazy dirty. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's been forever since
Well, I mean, it's sitting outside.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see it
Yeah,
there.
well, look at it there. Yeah, isn't
there
that
you go.
awful looking? Yeah.
Little.
But
Blame that on the sun. Just say it's a glare.
it's a glare.
Yeah, it's a glare.
well, that is what they call a lens flare, but it's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a
a
lot
gnarly
worse when
lens
it's
flare.
dusty and yeah. The really expensive cameras, which is not this camera, they have little wipers on them. Yeah, I mean it's kind of funny. So they have a little. Anyhow,
Yeah, sounds a little too much for me.
not ours. But hey, let's look at the weather graphic. So 71 today, 72 tomorrow.
Yeah,
Just crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like both days are pretty calm, not much chance of rain, and then the rain comes over the weekend.
Yeah, and then look, we were talking about it possibly freezing. Look at the low on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's going to get right there to that, right on the cusp. I mean,
That's right.
It could dip down into freezing on Saturday night.
Tanya will have to cover her tulips.
Yeah.
That's right.
Cover your tulips.
All right. Cool. Well, hey, we're glad that you guys are with us. And we're going to take a little break. And here in just a minute, Terry Hale from Elgin Opera House will be with us. We'll be right back.
Eastern Oregon is full of interesting people, with interesting minds and interesting things to say. Here at EO Live, we're committed to connecting you to these intriguing people with EO Talks. We let our special guests share their ideas and life experiences with deep, open, engaging, and inquisitive conversations. You'll also be informed in depth on some of the most recent and relevant events, issues, and more. EO Talks on EO Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon, now on Roku. Here in Eastern Oregon, we're blessed to live in such a wonderful area. And though it may seem mild-mannered, there's actually quite a lot that goes on in this area. And apparently, there's two dinguses who happen to be here that are actually crazy enough to get up at the crack of dawn to talk about it. Tune into AM Live on EOA with Brent and Dodsey, featuring special guests, weather, sports, news, and more, every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m., only on EOA Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon, now on Roku.
Welcome to Creating Memories for Disabled Children at beautiful Wallowa Lake, Oregon. Over the years, we have offered families of children with disabilities a free vacation at our beautiful camp properties. These getaways are a respite for families who often deal with an increased amount of emotional stress, financial hardships, and isolation. At Creating Memories, these families are able to relax in the knowledge that their child is loved and that their efforts are seen. Since 2018, we have completed a cabin renovation every 2 years, continually increasing our capacity to serve. We have fully renovated 3 cabins to become fully accessible lodging for families, including full kitchens and wheelchair-accessible bathrooms. We now turn our focus to the lodge building at the Creating Memories camp. Our vision for the lodge includes gatherings, networking, education, connections, community, and fellowship. We want it to be a place for families to share their struggles and joys, their needs and their knowledge, their setbacks and their celebrations. We are creating memories for disabled children, and our mission is to do just that. All right, we're back with Professor Terry Hale.
Don't oversell it.
Don't oversell it, yeah. No, Terry Hale, what's your title out there?
Executive Artistic Director.
Executive, are you sure you couldn't throw another
And I
word
say
in
that
there?
after I say don't oversell it, yeah.
Executive Artistic Director.
Janitor.
Yeah.
Whatever, pretty much whatever can be done, that's what I do.
Yeah. Well, and you and I have been friends and tracked with each other for 9 years ago.
Long time.
Can you
Yeah,
believe it? Night
I
is
know.
when we did
My Fair
My
Lady.
Fair Lady. Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
That was great, good times.
Yes, and you and I were the bad guys that were wagering about Eliza Doolittle, whether she
Yes.
could be transformed or not.
The scheming connivers.
scheming, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
That was fun.
That same plot. What was the plot? It was in Trading Places. Isn't that what there was a
Yeah.
movie years ago? I mean, they've done that, but
That old Pygmalion script.
right. But with Eddie Murphy was in that show. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Oh, it's classic. What a great movie.
It really was. Yeah. So Eddie Murphy was a beggar, and he was perfectly cast for that. He was a beggar on the street, and they made a wager of whether they could turn him into a financial executive.
Wall
or
Street
something.
tycoon
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that, yes. Yeah, great movie. That brings back some memories.
Yeah. Well, hey, good to see you. Thanks
too.
for yeah.
Glad I made it.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
You live in Elgin, which makes
I do.
sense. Yes, and so no, thanks for being here. So
For sure.
why don't I know the story? But why don't you tell us just a little bit about how the Elgin Opera House got started? I mean, how your involvement in the Elgin Opera House got started. And
I don't know if we've got enough time on your show to
Yeah.
do that. I mean, I'll just make it really brief.
Yeah.
I mean, back in 2006, my wife and I were on vacation. We were traveling with some friends, and my parents called and said, "Hey, we're moving to Elgin. We're going to sell." We all lived in Portland. We're going to sell all of our stuff. We're moving to Elgin. We said, "No, you're not. You are not moving to Elgin. Don't do anything. Hold. And so we diverted our trip, and we came out. We darted out to Elgin to prevent them from moving there.
Prevent them.
Yes, they're like, you can't do this. And when I got there, my aunt showed me she's got to go see our opera house, and it had been closed for a long time. And so I said, all right. We went down and we toured the opera house, and I said, well, what are they doing with this place? I mean, this is pretty spectacular to have a little theater like this in this town in the middle of nowhere. Of course,
Now, and you had
sorry,
theater.
Elgin friends, but to me
Yeah.
that was the middle of nowhere.
Right, and you had theater background.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Through college.
But I think
from
at the
a young
time
age.
you were doing financial stuff at that point. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, I was, and it was really boring. I mean, it paid well, but I didn't love it. And fortunately, I was mobile though at the time, and so we looked at this opera house. And they said you should go talk to the city. I'm like, all right. So I went and talked to the city manager, and he said, come to our city council meeting next week, and let's see if we can do a deal to get you out here. And
This is all on the same trip?
yeah. That's when I negotiated the terms. Yeah, I mean, and just real quick, I'll try to say this quickly so as not to eat up all of our time. But I was working for a national nonprofit organization at the time, and one of my associates lived in Houston, and I went back to Portland, and she called me for some other business, and I said, look, I've got this opportunity to do this project, take on this project in this little town in Oregon, and I'm actually thinking about doing it. And she's like, that's crazy. That sounds awesome, though. And she goes, well, where is it? I said, well, it's this little town. You've never heard of it. It's called Elgin, Oregon. I'm going there next Tuesday to meet with the city council. And she says, you're going to be in Elgin, Oregon next Tuesday? And I said, yeah. She goes, well, I'm going to be in Elgin, Oregon next Tuesday. My best friend in the world lives in Elgin, and this, we meet every couple years, and this is the time we're going to do it. So I said, well, let's get dinner. So my friend from Houston meets me in Elgin. We went to Sig's back in the day. That's what the little restaurant was called.
Yeah.
And had a great dinner there. And she goes, well, let's go see this little theater. And we wandered over, and she was stage 4 breast cancer at the time, and that was the nonprofit I was working for with a breast cancer related organization. And we get up on the stage and we look around, and I said, I don't know, Dee. I don't know if I can do this. I go, this is crazy. I'm going to have to pack up everything. This is going to be a huge life shift for me. And she comes over and she gets right in my face and she says, Terry, I want you to take it from someone who knows how short life is. She said, you need to do this. You get one shot at these kind of things. And if you don't take it, if you don't do this, these things are going to pass by you. And you're never going to have the chance. He goes, please do this, and I'll do whatever I can in the time I have left to help you, get into this. And so I said, okay. I mean, I did it, and it was crazy. When we packed up our house, we put everything in a truck, and I beat my parents to Elgin. I was there before they were. A couple weeks later, I was actually in the opera house, trying to create a business plan. I didn't even have a business plan. I thought, well, we're going to just make it work. We're going to figure it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, what condition was the Elgin Opera House in at that time?
Well, it looked haunted from the outside. I'm like, oh man, I'm sure it was. It was the interior was actually pretty well preserved. I mean, amazingly, you have to hand it to the folks at the city of Elgin for maintaining that building so well.
Because they were showing movies and stuff occasionally, or was it?
Yeah. I mean, the city had been leasing it to folks for several years. The previous leaseholders, they gave up on it and moved on. So it hadn't been really doing anything for a couple of years before I got there. The exterior was pretty rough. I mean, it was run down. Things were falling off, and it was dilapidated. So. But fortunately, the interior was good enough that we could do things in there. I learned how to run a movie projector, which, I learned about the movie industry, and I tried that out, and we ran movies for a few years there. But really, it wasn't until we started doing the live productions that things really started to pick up.
So when was the first show? I mean, tell us about that.
Oh, man. Well, we brought some shows in. Eastern Oregon Regional Theater came in and did a little production. EOU came and did a little 3-man Shakespeare show there. I worked with the Wheelers. We did Christmas Carol. I mean, these are all small productions, and I finally said, look, we've got to go big or go home on this. So I looked at to see what was the biggest, most complicated, difficult musical that I could possibly do. And at the time, it was Beauty and the Beast. It had just been released for amateur use. And I said, let's go for it. Let's see what we can do out here. And everyone said, don't do it. You don't know. No one's going to go out there. You're going to lose all your money. Don't do it. And, so I just took caution and $15,000 of my own money and produced Beauty and the Beast. And it was pretty incredible. I had over 100 people came out to be in that production. Everyone who auditioned got in. I'm like, let's just go. I found a spot for everybody. And the biggest mistake I made was I only licensed 2 weekends.
Oh.
Not even knowing if I could, do one weekend.
Right.
I really had no idea whether anyone would come out there. And, it was the last show. It was a Saturday evening, and I went out, and there were people lined up down the steps around the corner, and we were full. I couldn't fit one more person in there. We were already stuffing people in chairs, and I had to go tell everyone, I was like, sorry, we're full.
Wow.
We're done. And they were not happy with me. But I realized, okay, I think we've got something here. I think this is probably a good direction for us to go. And then since, add, I don't know, what are we at, 80 shows, something later?
Wow.
We're still going. And I keep telling everyone, they're like, well, when are you going to stop doing this? I said, well, when people stop coming, I'll stop doing this.
So when was that you did Beauty and the Beast? What
2007.
year? Okay.
It was the spring of 2007.
So people might, I know they don't understand
Sorry, it was 2008, April 2008.
Okay. People don't understand how do you get a show? How do you lease it, or, talk a little bit about how that's controlled and how much it costs, and
it's tricky business. You can't. I can't even announce my season right now because I'm still wrapping up licensing.
Okay.
And until there are a few large companies that hold the licenses or book the licenses for these shows, and you have to sign a contract with them. You've got to pay them a lot of money. And you can't announce a show, you can't really audition a show until you have a license with them. And it's very expensive. It's prohibitive, actually.
Give us an idea of what Beauty and the Beast would cost.
It's just to get the license for the show before you even do a costume or a prop or anything. It runs me at the Opera House around $8,000.
Wow.
So that's just to have the rights.
And does that include the scripts?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's the other thing.
Send you some scripts,
all of the scripts they come.
And then you got to send them back when you're done. Don't draw on them. And it comes with a bunch of rules and things you can and can't do. While you do their show, people are very particular.
Right.
Some companies are more particular than others.
And if you've only licensed it for 2 weekends, it's not like you can go, oh hey, let's add another weekend. Or...
You can. You have to let them know, and then they'll ask you to give them more money.
Right. Okay.
And I've done that. And sometimes I'll put actors on call. I'm like, hey, look, we don't know how the show may do well. It may flop. Everything's a risk. It's super risky. And if people don't come, okay, you still license the show. You pay for every seat in your house, whether someone's sitting in it or not. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's tricky business. So it really is amazing that we've lasted this long.
Yeah.
And I'm really appreciative of the support that we've gotten from the community. But like right now, we're starting a season in Pendleton this year. We're going to do a 3-show season, and all of my licensing is wrapped up and we're good to go, but my Elgin season is I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to get these licenses back, and once we do that, I'll be able to announce my Elgin season. Wow. But it's going to be pretty fun. It's going to be a great year.
So why Elgin? And I know you teach at BMCC, or you've had a connection there for,
Yeah, I'm the theater arts instructor there.
Okay, and so then that was kind of your original connection there?
Talk
to us about Pendleton.
Yeah, I did a production of Hairspray, probably about 6 years ago. I think it's been that long. Wow. And the theater arts professor at the time came and saw the production, and he was really impressed. He said, "This is great." And so he pulled me aside after the show. He said, "Would you ever be interested in, directing over in Pendleton?" I'm like, "Yeah, I would love that. It'd be great to have a new venue and new people to work with." And so through a long series of events, and I ended up directing Godspell over at BMCC, and I met a bunch of great people. And then that professor had retired, and BMCC hired me to come in as an adjunct professor. They didn't want a full-time. And so I was hired to do that, and so I was able to produce a few more shows there. And then the little theater company that I was working with decided to go a different direction. So the people I work with, they started coming to Elgin and doing theater with me here. But it's a long drive. It's an hour and a half.
Right.
It's amazing how many people do it. They'll drive an hour and a half to come over to be in an Elgin show and then drive home day after day.
That's
and
a huge commitment.
So for years they've been begging me, "Please, Terry, come over. Let's do some theater there."
Yeah.
And so I've been looking to get a downtown location in Pendleton. I feel like there was an opportunity there to just take advantage of the tourism that they have there, particularly in the summer. And most recently, I don't know if you saw the article on that.
I did, but tell us about what.
Yeah, so there was this old church right on Main Street, and it was given to the city of Pendleton, and the city of Pendleton said, "Hey, throw in for it if you want," and we did, and the city chose us to sell the building to. So we're going to be purchasing this building right down on Main Street.
Wow.
And it was a very generous deal. I don't want anyone to think that we're throwing money around, because we don't. We're a little nonprofit company. But so now we're going to have the opportunity to do 2 seasons. We'll do our Elgin season like we normally do, and then we will do a Pendleton season as well. And that'll just help us with cash flow. I mean, you've done a show, and one of the things that people don't realize, some people come to our shows and think we just kind of threw the show together. We just kind of whipped this thing up. But it takes weeks of rehearsal. So, sometimes 8 to 10 weeks we're rehearsing this thing, and it's a lot of work, and it takes time, and it's just it's kind of exhausting, really. And what I found is that I really need, in order to have good cash flow for the organization, we need to do 6 shows a year.
Okay.
And in Elgin, at about show number 4, we can get 3 shows solid every time. We put that 4th show in, and the data shows that our audience starts to choosing. And by show 5 and 6, they're definitely picking. They're like, we'll go to this one, but we're going to skip that one, and we're going to.
Right.
And so, in a sense, we just start cannibalizing our own audience when we do more than 4 or 5 main stage shows. So by me moving to Pendleton, what that does, if I do 3 shows over there, I'm able to attract an audience that just won't drive over the hill.
Right.
They just won't come over.
Right.
I beg. They're like, "Oh, I really want to, but the drive." And so what we're hoping is that we can get 3, solid, audience committed shows in Pendleton and 3 in Elgin.
Right.
And that will just help our sustainability.
So what are you having to do to that facility to get it prepared? I mean, it's a church, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an
you're
old-
smiling right there.
it's an
Yeah.
old
It's
church.
like, yeah.
I know. I'm really not in the restoration business,
Right,
but I
right.
sure do a lot of it. And I find myself doing a lot more than I'd like.
Yeah.
We're working with the city of Pendleton on a grant. It's a downtown grant that they actually started before we committed to take the building. We're hoping to get that grant, and that will help us get all the ADA. I mean, it's an old building, so we've got to upgrade the ADA access and all of those things. We'll have to put the seating in and build the stage, and but it's really it's a pretty good condition.
Good.
It's a super charming building. You should come over. We'll give you
I
a
will.
tour.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do it. So, before I go, tell me what you guys do in the summer, because that is also something that's like super unique, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
tell us about your youth programs and then also what you do in the summer.
okay. Well, let's see. Well, it was probably about 10 years ago that I realized that we had a group of kids that really loved doing this art form. They were into it. It was like a sport to them, and it is like a sport. I mean, they work hard. They're extremely committed, and I thought I need to do something for these kids. And so I started this group called Opera House Youth Actors. I thought, well, we'll just try it, see if anyone comes. And we started competing with them. So we would take them to these national competitions, and the first year that we went, we won the Inspiration Award for the whole festival. I mean, they loved us. We came in like, look at this little group from this little town and nowhere, and they just poured their hearts into it.
Right.
So we got this national award, and we thought, well, let's do it again. And so we increased the size of the group a little bit, and we went again the next year. We won the All Festival Award. We won the top award for the entire festival. It blew us away. I mean,
wow.
And one of our actors won the All Festival Award for Best Male Actor. So, I mean, he beat out everyone. Like,
wow.
People came from all around the world to go there. And so we've been competing there for several years. And then we also take them, for variety's sake, we take them to other venues. Like, we'll take them to Disney and participate in their program where they get to go perform in the park. And that provides variety for them. And opportunity that the competitions don't. And this year we're taking them to London. So this year we're going to
really?
Yeah, we're going to go to London, and Grant Turner's going to take us around. We're going to be at the Globe on Shakespeare's birthday, and I mean, we're going to have this great time, this great educational experience. But
right.
Along with that, every summer we do this camp. Where kids come from all over the Northwest, this theater camp, and it's very good, and the kids do a lot of the work on that. Our older kids, we're teaching them leadership, we're teaching them how to communicate, we're teaching them how to lead small groups. A lot of the kids will do the choreography, the music. They'll help with the directing. They herd the kids around. They're just great little mentors.
Yeah,
and it's become very popular. This year, we're going to be having a camp in Pendleton and a camp in Elgin. So again, we're trying to just reach more kids, expand our program.
How are you doing this? And you brought on some staff to help you with this. I mean, tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got some permanent staff. I've got a tech director, thank goodness. It took me a long time to be able to get to where I could do that. Yeah, Nathan comes in and he helps build the sets, handles the lighting, all of those things that are just make my mind melt. So he does those things. I've got Kathy Bonney handles our finances and writes grants for us, and I have a personal assistant, Gina Adams, who helps me just keep,
Yeah, Gina
she's obviously on vacation this week.
Yeah, Gina was in My Fair Lady.
She was. Yeah. She's on vacation this week. And then really, I think one of the neatest things is that these kids, these older teenagers come in and they take these leadership roles on. Mm-hmm. Kaylee Davis, who has been with my program for years now, she's coming on as my camp director. She's just great. She'll graduate from high school this year. She's a senior. And so now she's going to be basically helping me run this camp.
Right.
And it's amazing to me, these kids, the experience that they get. And they're going on to these great schools, or some of them are going to Stanford. They're getting into these elite programs. They're getting some great training out there. And so not only are we teaching them the arts, the performing arts, and they're excelling at that, but they're also learning these amazing life skills and these leadership skills that are going to help them in whatever they do.
Yeah. So why? I mean, and you and I have talked, we have a lot of similar passions for youth, but tell me, why? Why is this such a burning thing in you? Where did that come from, do you think?
I don't know. There's just like something inside of you that says, hey, you've got to do something meaningful.
Yeah.
And clear back in 2006, when we just made that decision, that leap to come out, I sat with my my wife and Stephanie, who's just amazing. None of this would happen without her. And I said, this is going to change everything.
Right.
I mean, this is like a mission. I mean, we're going to come out here and, this really isn't like a career, like a normal job choice. As a matter of fact, a lot of my friends who I worked with in business said, Terry, don't do this. Don't do this. This is crazy. These are your earning years. This is nuts. Don't do it. And we did it anyway because we just felt like, when your friend Dee, who's dying of breast cancer, says, Terry, take it from me, you need to remember how short life really is, and what little time you have here. Do something special, do something amazing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just stuck with us. And again, it's been one of those things where, I've always said, how long are you going to keep doing this? Well, as long as people keep coming, and I keep trying these new things. I'm like, well, if people do it, then I'll keep doing it. If they don't, I won't do it. It's I don't really want to overthink it. It's kind of like, well, I keep doing shows, and I audition a show, and people keep coming out for them. So I'll probably keep doing it until people stop participating.
Well, and it's always amazing to me. I mean, when I've gone to shows that had a lot of kids, elementary kids, and I mean, I've done enough music to know that it's hard to get kids to sing.
Yeah.
And then when I go out there and there's 50 kids on the stage, and I mean, they're just blowing the doors off the place because they're singing,
Yeah.
And I mean, that's monumental. I mean, it's just, and not only that, but then to watch those kids get older, and then they begin,
They're teaching the other kids.
right. I mean, you have this, and you're pulling people from, not only from Pendleton, but from Wallowa County.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
I mean,
6 counties.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just did Beetlejuice Jr. and it was choreographed all by teenagers, and I had a co-director she was a teenager. She's a senior this year. She's going to Stanford. My music director is Hale. She did the music. I mean, these kids are amazing. I mean, they really are. And I've always had this this feeling that you have to let them. You got to let them do what they can do. And so I don't know. I guess maybe sometimes we hold them back or something. We don't realize how much potential these kids have. And then you ask why the kids? Well, one of the things I realize is I do a show with kids, and I have these parents would come up to me afterwards, and I think, and that's just about the time I'm like, I'm never doing that again. Seriously, like that was so much work. I'll have a parent come up to me and pull me in my office and say, you don't understand. We didn't know what to do with this kid. We didn't know what. I mean, we were desperate. We were in therapy. We were trying to figure out how to save this kid, and then we got them into this program, and now their whole world has changed. They have friends. They get up in the morning and they're happy and they're smiling, and those types of things. They matter, and they help. Those types of things help me keep going. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And just about the time I think, God, I don't know if this is worth it. Again, a parent will come in and say, oh, my child was learning disabilities and had trouble here, and for the first time they feel like they can excel at something. I'm thinking, well, there's a real need for this, and if we as adults. If we want our world to be we can't just sit and complain about the world being the way it is. We have to do something. We have to do things that are going to make the world better.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're in my own little way, in my own little corner out there, I'm hopefully making a little bit of an impact.
Yeah.
And even if it's a little bit, that's enough.
Well, it's monumental, and you and I have talked many times about this. Just that how amazing that is.
Yeah, it really is. It's people just need a place to land.
Yeah. Do you think that kids don't have the opportunity to step up and take responsibility like that? I mean, if you're a farm kid, there's a certain amount of responsibility that you kind of inherit. But in our society, is there much opportunity for that, do you think?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think we're really good at sports.
Yeah.
And a lot of the kids that I work with do sports as well, and I think it's so great. I mean, it boosts their confidence and gives them something to work towards. It gets them out of the house. It gets them off their phones. And so I do think there are opportunities, but I think there are probably some gaps in those opportunities, maybe some places where we need to fill in a little bit. I think what I do does that. I think I know I work with some kids that just don't fit in other places, and they just happen to fit in where I'm at. Well, good. We filled a gap. I mean, it may not be for everybody, but it's for some people. And we get, I mean, again, like I said, we get people who do sports. They excel. They're great. They go to state, and they do the choirs, and they also come and do this. And I think it's good for those people, for these different personalities, to get together and feed on each other. I mean, they literally lift each other up. They build each other up. And the thing I love about the live, the performing arts, particularly now, I mean, even more so than even when we work together, nothing's really real anymore. Everything's digital. Everything's, we're getting into AI, and everything's in this little world right now for a lot of these kids. And I'm finding that this is a good anecdote to that. I mean, they are able to come out and do real things with real people, and they have to like look at each other in the eyes, which is I'm constantly saying, look at each other in the eyes, and they don't. I mean, just little things like that, just human interactions. Sometimes I think are becoming more scarce. Yeah, and maybe not. Maybe that's just my.
No, you're right. No, yeah,
you know what I mean.
Tell them about your son.
You're 100. My son. Okay, so this is a great story on that. And my son, popular, good athlete. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm talking to him about the girl, right? And he's like, "Yeah, I'm talking to this girl, and he went to the same school as her, the same high school, and had never talked face to face with her." Yeah, I was like, What do you mean? And he's like, "I've never talked to her. I'm talking to her on Instagram." I'm like, where are we? On a Friday night when I was a kid, the way you found out where things were going on is you drove up and down Adams. And everybody would yell out the window, "Hey, party up," or whatever. I know. You had to talk to each other. You had to interact with people. Nowadays, there's no. And when you talk about extracurricular activities, there's research. It doesn't matter whether it's sports or acting or music or anything. There's research that says that kids that are involved in extracurricular activities are less likely to get in trouble. Yeah, and it's true. It's 100% true. And it's true. I joke with some of my kids. I'll have a show coming up, and they'll come up to me like, "Oh, I don't know if my parents are going to let me do it," and just tell, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I say, well, just tell them that, if you let me do the show, I won't do drugs. Right. So maybe that'll help. But there is a correlation. I know. It's a joke, but it's kind of true. It is true. And it's not just for the kids. We talk a lot about the kids, but it's the adults too. Right. I mean, we're friends because we did this show. Right. And I encourage the adults to come out and participate. And come out and be a leader. Come out and be an example, and make some new friends. Right. Because I think we get on our devices too. We're not immune to that. I know I do more and more, and it's great. I go into rehearsal. I put my phone on my desk, and I get to go out and talk with people, and make connections. And we need to make connections. And I think that's really. Really what it comes down, I mean, what we do out there is that's what we're doing. We're making connections. We're connecting with each other, and then as actors, we're connecting with an audience. Yeah. And it's just real. Right. I mean, it's real people. It's real people. Yeah, and it's right now too. Every show something different happens, and you never know what you're going to get. Someone's going to go up on their lines or something, and something's going to fall. And it's just all very real. It's not overly produced, and I think more and more. I think as humans, I think we're craving that. Yeah. But so I encourage you to come back out, Brent, and do a show again. What have you been doing? I know. What? Yeah. What's up? No. And I mean the connections that I made during the show are the most valuable thing. Yeah. The friendships that you. Right. Yeah. Ken Wheeler was just in the chair that you're in just, a few weeks ago. And talking about Fiddler. Yeah, nice. Yeah. And,
and you know, amazing people. I mean, I knew Ken, but
Yeah.
you and Ken and I were in the same dressing room, and so we bumped into each other a bunch, you know.
Yeah.
And
Did the quick changes and
oh,
all
man,
of that stuff.
Yeah, what
and
an
trying to
incredible
get
time.
to your place on time, and then
Yeah.
supporting each other as actors, and really just having a lot of fun, having a ball.
Right. Now, one thing that it took me a while to figure out, and that is that, I mean, you've done 80, I mean, how many shows have you done? A ton.
A lot.
Yeah, and Ken is the same
Produced a
way,
lot.
you know.
Yeah, he's the
Now,
same
for
way.
me, I've only probably done 5 in my entire life, including my high school career, you know,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, my college career. And so, you know, for me, each one of those is still monumental. For you, I mean, it's like, some of it's got to be like turning a page. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, here we go, next one. Yeah.
Yeah, we just tore down Beetlejuice, and you know, we worked so hard.
Yeah, that would kill
I mean, what
me.
this amazing set that we built for these kids. We always try to go all out for the kids stuff, and it was an incredible show. And then we just tear it down, and I look at this empty stage. I'm like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
You know, what do we do
It's
now?
just like a canvas that's got to
It
be
is.
filled. Yeah.
It is. You know, it's like, you know, you see those YouTube videos of those guys that do the little sand things.
Yeah.
And they spend, you know, a year creating this thing, and then they like,
A little bit of wind.
and then they blow it away. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like,
Or
hey,
the
that's what I
Etch-a-Sketch
do.
artist.
Yes, I'm like, that's what I do. I mean, these things are not, again, they're not meant to be permanent. They're these moments that we create.
Yeah.
And I often tell my kids, I'm like, look, at the end, they're all kind of sad. I'm like, look, no one can ever take this away from you. That's a memory that you own that now.
Well, and
you
the
can take that with you,
relationships.
and those relationships
on
and those
for-
experiences and
Yeah.
the growth. I mean, that's really all we own.
Yeah.
In the end, that's all we own.
No. Yeah, and I'm thinking like Gina Adams. I mean, I was terrible doing my own makeup, and Gina Adams helped me. It's like,
Yeah, she
I
does
mean,
great hair and makeup, man. She's on.
I love that woman because she like, I
Yeah,
mean, she
she's
took
great.
care of me, you know, and there were several different things like that just like, you know, were just incredible. So
Yeah.
the other thing that happened is there was a few of us that went on a trip, a car trip. Michael Frazier and you and me,
Yeah.
Renee and
Was Moira with
Devin.
us? Oh, Devin. Okay.
yeah, I think those were the 5 of us, and we went and saw My Fair Lady in Issaquah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But the most interesting thing about that trip is listening to you all show people talk about all of the different shows that you'd seen on Broadway. And that's your thing. I mean, that's one of
Yeah.
the, how many shows have you been to Broadway now?
Oh, it's well over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
So, I mean, not only do you do that, but you're constantly looking at stuff and watching stuff to get, how can I adapt that to us? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little weird. But, yeah, no, it is. There's just something about that art form that just really inspires me.
Yeah.
And when you get to go see it done, it's like you're into sports. I mean, you know, when you watch your team, you know, make these amazing plays, it inspires you. That's the way it is for me. It's like watching the very best, you know, in our profession, you know, do their thing. And when you get to go see, I always encourage people, go see a Broadway show. Even if it's not your thing, you should go do it. You should go try. Because, you know, it's one thing to see a community show, and, you know, we do a pretty good job. But it's a difference between seeing a really good high school team, you know, or a good college team, and then going and seeing something at the NFL or something on the profession. I mean, it's such a marked difference.
Yeah.
And, you know, you should go. You should
Yeah.
go see
Well,
it.
and even if you're not a fan,
Yeah.
a big fan of that particular thing, you recognize the level of professionalism.
Yeah, it's just, everything's just perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah, I remember the very first time I went to a professional opera in Seattle. This is years and years ago. And I mean, I didn't really have an interest in going to an opera. But I mean, when I got there and I saw the set, I mean, I cried.
Yeah.
It was an Italian, and it was like,
Yeah, it's
was
very
just,
moving.
I was so moved
Yeah.
just by the vastness of the set and the beauty of the lighting and the, you know, it was phenomenal. So
Yeah, and you know, and come out to the Opera House.
Yeah.
And see our shows there. Hopefully, you'll be moved there as well. Even if it's not your thing, come try it out.
yeah. Well, man. So before we quit, just tell me about your kids, because
Oh my
that,
gosh.
I mean, that's been a progression for you. When you came here, I mean, how many kids did you have? Did you have?
I had two.
You had
I my
two?
I had
And then
Maddie
your-
and Abby. They were just little.
And then your
just little
son was
things.
born while you were here.
Yes, yeah. Joey was born up at Grand Run Hospital.
Yeah, and they have progressed.
Yeah.
I mean, Elgin Opera House has been one of their. I mean, tell us about them.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you get to go to work, and it's every day is like bring your kids to work day, and it really has been one of the things that's probably helped sustain me in this, because we spend a lot of time at the theater, and I always encourage families to come do this together if they can. We have a long tradition of fathers and daughters coming out and doing shows together, and I encourage that because you do spend a lot of time there. And with my kids, each one of them has had their opportunity to shine. And they'll be the first to tell you that they've also spent a lot of time in the ensemble. I mean, they really, I'm really proud of them, because they don't think that they deserve the leads in shows, and they're just as happy to be spear carrier number 10, as they are to take a lead in a show, and they've done all of that.
Yeah.
And my daughter Maddie, she's had the opportunity to play some leading roles, and Abby, not only she's had a couple of good leads, but she's also excelled in the choreography.
Right.
So she's just really good at it, and I love working with her. I get to spend hours working with her on productions, and we get together and we scheme about how things should go, and to be able to have that relationship's been just pretty incredible. And then Joey, Joey kind of tagged along, and he was in the Opera House Youth Actors, and he always liked it. But as he got older, he really started to enjoy it. And he did sports. He played football and did other things as well. But he's like, Dad, I really like this theater thing. I really like it's those connections that you get there. I really like the connections you get to make. And he just played Beetlejuice.
Oh, really?
And that was his first, he's a senior, and that really was his first big role. And, he hit it out of the park. He was amazing. And I think I was even a little surprised. I was like, wow, you did a great job. I was really proud of him that he was able to, step up and take that role. But, he's been in the ensemble, 20 times,
Wow.
In the back, doing the thing with the rest of the kids. So, it's never been one of these things, at least with us, and maybe other theater programs have this problem where the director's kids get all the roles. We just don't do that. It's like if you deserve it, you get it. If you don't, I'm giving it to somebody else. They have to fight for it just like everybody.
Yeah.
But then just having them there, in the theater with me has been a real joy.
Yeah. Well, and there's a language with family. They know there's intuitive stuff. They know what to do without you even telling them to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That has goods and bads. But it makes life so much easier. Yeah.
It is. It's great. And and my wife, of course, she's been involved all along. Sometimes
She's a musician.
She's
a
a
drummer,
musician,
right?
Yeah, she plays the piano and the drums. She's been in a couple of shows, but always behind the scenes, supporting and encouraging, and doing the dishes when we because we have to leave for rehearsal. Always doing those things that aren't seen, and helping with the finances and all of those things.
Yeah. Well, Terry, thank you. Thanks for making.
You're welcome. I'm glad I made it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and you're a dear friend, and just always.
You too.
Yeah, always treasured. You and I connected.
We're auditioning for Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. It's a good time to get those boys out. And I always say this to the boys. I'm like, this is where you want to be. All of the good-looking girls are in the theater, and so if you need to make some friends, come on out and audition. We'd love to have you.
All right. Cool. When
you.
those auditions are going on right now?
Right now, yep. It's all online, so just go to elginoperahouse.com, and all the details are right there.
All right. Cool.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. You want to get us out of here?
Yeah, let's do it. On this day, what is it? March 25th. 1813, the first U.S. flag is flown in battle on the Pacific by the Essex. 1882, on this day, the first demonstration of pancake making is held at a department store in New York City.
82?
1882.
1882.
Yeah.
Okay,
1996, on this day, the U.S. issues the newly redesigned $100 bill. There's not a lot of stuff happened on this day. 2019, NASA cancels a planned historic all-female spacewalk because it doesn't have enough spacesuits to fit women. That sounds like something NASA would do. It really does. Number one movie in America on this day in 1995, Outbreak. And then the quote of the day comes from Frederick the Great. Great things are achieved only when we take great risks. One more time. Great things are achieved only when we take great risks.
Alrighty.
Oh, Cody Bowen's show tonight. We never
Yeah.
even talked about it. We didn't even
didn't.
say anything. We're going to talk some Measure 114 tonight on the show. So if you don't have anything going on, 5:30 p.m. live right here on the EOA network, Keeping It Clear with Cody Bowen. Myself and Cody Bowen are going to take questions from you guys.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks, Terry.
You're welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon right here.